How's it going? Woodspoon SuperCoach here, back with a cheapies and value picks video. Probably the most important thing that people are looking to find out is where are they going to make money from, who's underpriced, who are the best options in each position. So we're going to go over starting from fullback because it's the most exciting. We'll work our way up to hooker. And we've got a bunch of players to go over. Max joining me again this week. How you going, bro?
Thanks, Jake. How you doing today?
Good, man. I can't lie, I'm actually a little bit hungover, but we move. She'll be right. It was a fucking big one last night, but it's all right. Supercoach takes priority. I can go to bed later.
First video of the new year, mate. I think most people expect that.
Yeah, fair. Absolutely. Alrighty, well, let's get into it. Have you got any fullback cheapies and value picks that you're keen on?
I have, mate. I've done a bit of research for you. And look, fullback, definitely not the most exciting position for me for the cheapies, but bit of mail around Liam Eisen at the Sharks. Young gun, been brought into the top 30. Look, it's definitely a watch this space during the preseason trials, but he will be fighting for a spot. And they weren't stoked with Kennedy last year, so look, there's a very slim chance, but he's pretty much all I've got in that sort of category. Otherwise, Fletcher Hunt at the Knights. He does have the dual position, so that could be handy if you need to move some players around. And he did play a bit in the season just gone. So again, watch this space. It'd be handy if he makes the top 13. Like if he gets a starting wing spot or something, then Fletcher Hunt at the Knights could be a good cheapie in the fullback spot. What about you? What do you got for cheapies?
Yeah, nice. I would love it for Liam Eisen to come in. That just reeks of what's his face, the Parramatta fullback from last year that set the world alight and earned heaps of money. Iongi, that's the one. Yeah, it'd just be nice to have a genuine, like, basically bottom dollar cheapie there. For me, though, obviously there isn't too many cheapies to go after, but Farlongo is a good value player, at least. It's a bit tricky because he is very attacking stat reliant. Last year, granted, he was playing on the wing. He scored a couple of 20s, but he still just doesn't, take many hit ups or offload the ball or anything. It's basically attacking stats or he's going to get a 20. However, in saying that, at fullback, he should be able to get a bit more involved with the attack. It's just 511k. I can see a world where he actually goes down a bit of money and then maybe a couple of games in a row, he gets like a 100, 120, and then that kind of gives him that boost. But it's really hard to say with Melbourne, especially with all the departing players, like who's going to be the one to take a step up. Probably not going to be Farlongo because he's not really cemented in that side just yet. So there's definitely a world where he can make money, but honestly, I'm not that keen on him anymore, and I've actually taken him out of my team.
There's a bit of value there for sure if he picks up some good attacking stats in the first couple of weeks, and you could watch that space for the first couple of weeks, I reckon. But
Yeah,
then, yeah, as far as value concerns, I don't think we, as far as value is concerned, I don't think we can go past Keanu Keeney.
yeah,
Being injured all year, before that he averaged over 72 points in 2024, so he's severely underpriced. Like I would expect him to average 70 points again this year. And probably in the first few weeks or so, you'll start to see some cash coming in from Keeney straight away. Otherwise, Kalen Ponga at the Knights, definitely capable of, setting the world alight. But the Knights struggling this year gone. And now they've got a new coach. Justin Holbrook was actually the attacking coach at the Roosters. So you know what their attack's like, really good. They were always able to unlock Teddy. So potentially the Knights there with Ponga getting unlocked by the new coach. He averaged 87 and 80 in 2023 and 2024. So you could definitely see Ponga, up around that 800,000 again at some point during the season. So some good value there with Keeney and Ponga.
100% agree. I recently had Ponga in my team, but I have switched him out to Turbo because I kind of thought when I had him in before, like, am I just being a biased Manly fan that really wants everything to go well? But we've seen time and time again that when Turbo is fit and playing, he just accumulates points like no one else does. So I really don't think it's going to be that difficult for him to score over 70 and make some money. And who knows, if he explodes and starts scoring 120s every week, that would really fucking hurt me to miss out on as a Manly fan. So I've got him in. And I genuinely think that we'll see him get up to maybe that 850k again where he belongs. I
Yep, that's a
think
good shout.
I think that's all I've got for fullbacks. So we'll move on to centre wings. Who have you got as the cheapies?
Cheapies, mate, there's a bit of mail about Setu 2 at the Dragons, impressing the coach, potentially able to get a start. I'm pretty sure I heard this on another YouTube channel somewhere that he might even get a start over Tui Piloto, and definitely Sloan. So, yep, Setu 2 at the Dragons. Definitely one to watch. Again, got to watch those preseason trials, make sure he's actually getting some game time. And yeah, look, if he gets named in the starting side, bottom dollar CTW, Setu 2. Otherwise, Jordan Samrani for me. I've put him in the cheapies categories under that 350 at the Eels. Eels are on the up. Samrani has a dual position. It's his second year in the NRL, so he should be getting stronger, more comfortable in his role. And just personally, to me, he looks good to my eye test. So I've got Samrani in my team right now actually as a CTW cheapie. The dual position to me is really valuable in that spot.
Yeah, I feel like Jules just in general, there's really not many of them this year. So if you can get a nice cheap guy, and if he does end up with that wing spot to fill in for Lomax, I'm all over that. That's a really nice bit of real estate for any player to be in. So going back to Sedu too, I'm pretty sure it was Nathan Lawson. Those two seems to be the guys fighting it out for Tyrell Sloan's spot. I think David Farley might be in the mix as well, but I heard some chat of Tui Pilotu maybe even being out of favour. So maybe we'll get both of these guys, which would be ideal, but we'll have to wait and see what Flano does for Teams List Tuesday. For the Tigers, we've got Makasini. Yep, Makasini there. Played one game for 67 points, so luckily he's not priced at that. That'd be ridiculous, but he could be coming in on the outside of Taylor May, I believe, is the side he'd be coming in on. Not too much to say. It's just, cheap wingers. If they come in, they are very handy for making money. Jesse McLean, there's been whispers that he may start over his brother despite Casey's breakout year. Keep an eye on him. He was meant to be the guy ahead of Casey the whole time. So maybe that happens. If it does, I love it. And I think that's all we've got for cheapies. Do you have any value picks?
Value picks in the CTW position. Mate, I've got a couple. Number one for me, and I'm a bit unsure about this. I will be watching it, see how he goes again in the preseason trial, make sure he gets some game time. But Will Warbrick at the Storm. Look, he had some bad luck with concussion last year. So I feel like he's really underpriced at the moment with having a bit of a struggling season. If he's on top of that and he comes out in form this year and he is able to stay on the field, the back five at the Storm, they all really need to step up. They've lost a couple of those. They've lost Grant Anderson, they've lost Pappy. So Will Warbrick is going to need to really step up this year, and I think he'll be looking forward to that with having a bit of a down year, missing so many games. So Will Warbrick at the Storm. Then at the Rabbitohs, I got Campbell Graham. So he averaged in mid 60s before missing 2024. And he might be going to the wing. Rumor is he's going to the wing this year.
Yes.
So that could be really good. The attacking prowess of the Rabbitohs is going to be top tier this season, and the wingers are going to benefit from that. So Campbell Graham, looking for a strong year after coming back from injury, he should be averaging well above where he's priced at the moment. So Will Warbrick and Campbell Graham are my value picks in the CTW.
Yeah, I have had both of them in at some point. I don't quite now because I've really stacked up my center wing and I can't really afford the middies. But those are two teams where you'll happily take a winger for 400k, and that's just it. Like they only need to score one try, get through a little bit of work, and they're at their value. So they shouldn't struggle to increase their value very much.
That's it.
For center wing value, an interesting one. I didn't even realize that Mulatalo got injured until yesterday when I was listening to a video. But we have got Sam Stonestreet coming in at 496k. Kind of similar to the last guys we were talking about. It's just a position where if you can get a guy for 400k there, it's worth it. Granted, he is closer to 500k, but I can't remember who I was listening to, but they said that Mulatalo is a good winger, but he's not like, a world-class, amazing winger. It's just that spot that he fills is so valuable and so much ball goes that way, being on the outside of Kale Iro. So there's an argument to be made where when I was tossing up between Iro and Mulatalo, which one I wanted, ended up picking KO Weeks, what am I saying? Kale Iro. Maybe I save myself a good 200k and put Stone Street in instead. That's something I'll have to toss up because I think he could make a lot of money.
Yeah, if
Next up,
Ronnie's out,
yeah, Ronnie's out. Do you know what he actually did? It sounded like a pretty significant injury.
no, sorry, man, I wasn't over that mail. No idea.
I'll quickly Google it. Yeah, okay. So Mulatalo is going to be out for quite a while, rupturing his ACL. So not even a tear. He's like fully snapped it. So yeah, wow. He probably won't be back for the year, or definitely won't be back for the year. So Stone Street will be in for the whole year. Editor Spoon here. He might be back towards the end of the season. It's a 9 to 12 month recovery for a fully snapped ATL. So happened in September. He could be back for finals or maybe even that sort of back end of the season. So just clearing that up. I'm going to have to find a way to get him in. That's too cheap for the left winger of the Sharks. Who else have we got? Brian To'o. Under 600k for To'o is insane. And he is a base stat beast. If he scores a try, he'll definitely be scoring over what he's priced at 60 points there. I think he could make some serious money. And he does have a ceiling. I think last year he was just carrying injuries and we didn't really get the best out of him. This year he'll be fresh, ready to go, and I think he can make a good amount of money. Another Melbourne guy, Nick Meaney. There is a possibility that Faulongo isn't the starting fullback. You know, that's just kind of what we're expecting, and it probably is the most likely outcome. But say even Storm come out round 1 and 2 and Faulongo shits the bed, their next best option is to stick Meaney back there. And if you've got Nick Meaney playing at fullback, goal kicking, he could easily score 2 or above his value of 61? No, 60. So he's, 1.2 points underpriced as well as a little cherry on top.
I like it. If he plays fullback, I like Nick Meaney. If he's playing in CTW position, I'm not sure if I'd spend the 600. I like the look more of the $400 value picks, but if
Yeah.
he's playing fullback, then that's really good value for sure.
Yeah, he's almost like a lower tier gun value pick, if that makes sense. I did see some mail today that Nick Meaney and Wishart have both been signed by the Bears. So whether that makes Bellamy want to maybe blood some younger guys that are replacements, who knows? But something worth thinking about. And
I think more likely both those players are probably trying to get a premiership at the Storm before they move on. So they'll probably be looking to play their hardest year so far this year. Got a point to prove before they head to Perth. So
yeah, absolutely. That's it's kind of shaping up to be quite an exciting team. The Bears. They also signed Curran the other day, so they're putting something together there, and I'm very excited for it. My last value pick for centre wing, I'm not that keen on, but we've got to mention him, is Latrell Mitchell, 626k. He's probably going to be roaming around and accumulating points in chunks like Latrell does. I just can't bring myself to do it when you can get a Toto for cheaper. I mean, I haven't really got many centre wings priced around Latrell's price, but I just need to see it first. And the fact that there are so many value Rabbitohs, you can't have all of them, or you're just going to get stuck with too many Rabbitohs players. I've already got 1, 2, 3. I've only got 3 at the moment, so that's pretty good. But I do also like the sound of getting Cameron Murray in as well. It's very likely that, you know, around price changes, I'll be like, yep, I have to get him in. I just can't let this one slip. But he's going to have to prove it to me first because it is a bit of money. He does play well at centre wing. I don't know. I just don't have the best feeling about it.
Do you have any of the numbers from when he did play centre? Because I think those were some pretty strong years for him playing SuperCoach stats wise. Like when he was in centre all year, pretty sure he had quite a good year. I haven't done the research on the trail, sorry, so I'm not too sure, but
That's all
I
good.
I do feel like when he plays at center, he tends to score pretty well, and when he plays at fullback, it's a bit less consistent.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
have the numbers,
I'll
but
quickly look them up. Yep, 3 is center, 6 is 5'8". So
no,
40.
never mind me. I'm wrong. It looks like he averaged his highest SuperCoach years were when he's playing at the Rabbitohs, 82, 84, and 88 in 2021, 2022, and 2024. So, I mean, scrap that. He did average about 70 playing centers in 2019. So, yeah, but that's about where he's priced at the moment. So,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't love it. I don't love it.
Yeah, he definitely has kind of evolved as a player since he last had a decent stint at center, but again, I just need to see it. Oh my god, look how different he looks in that picture. He looks so young. Bloody hell.
He does.
Back to it. So yeah, I can't argue against people who want to pick him. He's an exciting player, but I just won't be doing it. So moving on from the center wings, 5'8" and halfback. Who have you got for cheapies in there? I'm sure everyone's aware of the cheapies, but
Yeah, look, we probably don't need to spend too much time here, but 5'8", Jonah Pezzett, Eels, starting six at bottom dollar. It's a no-brainer. He's proven he's going to be in the back line with Mitch Moses. Like, great money, great value for money there, and he's a cheapie, so it's 2 in 1.
yep.
As far as the value picks go, I've gone a little bit potty with one of them, but the other one, Cody Walker at the Rabbitohs, again, if he's starting at 6 and he stays healthy, he should average 60 to 80.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely underpriced right now. Watch his space. If he's coming off the bench or if it looks like he's going to be struggling with injury, then I wouldn't go there. But if he's starting 6 and going to be playing 80 minutes, by all means, grab him because he will go up in value.
Yep.
The other side of the country, I've gone for Jackson Purdue at the Cowboys. He's a dual position. And it's his second full year in the NRL, so again, he should be on the up this year, finding his feet a bit more comfortable. He averaged 64 points at centre in these games played at centre this year just gone. So again, like there's a little bit of value there straight away if he's starting at centre. If he is playing 5'8", then teaming up with Tom Dearden with the whole preseason behind him at 5'8" could work really well. So interesting to see what happens. It's a bit of a watch this space, but dual position really handy. So
Mm.
if you're not sure and you want to take a punt on somebody, look for a bit of a pod play at the 5'8" position. I think Jackson Purdue could be a shout.
Yeah, he definitely would be low ownership, and you do need a couple of low ownership guys. We will do a pods video once the percentages actually come out, when the full game comes out, but they're always fun trying to find sneaky little players that no one else has. With Cody Walker as well, if he is coming off the bench, that means that there's a spot to fill in the halves for the Rabbitohs as well. So I think it's Ashton Ward and Jamie Humphreys. They could be options. They're both, from memory, around that 300k price mark. So, yeah, God, there's just so many options at the Rabbitohs. You could have half a team of them, which obviously doesn't work out too well, but we're going to have to really narrow down the best options for them.
Do you have anybody else at 5'8"?
No, I've literally, on my list, I'm just like, yep, Max got that one covered. So we'll move on to halfback.
All right, cheapies in the halfback. Again, everyone's probably going to have the same stuff here, so we probably won't be on this one for too long. But Daniel Atkinson at the Dragons, bottom dollar, starting at 7, exciting player. That's a no-brainer.
Yep.
And then obviously whichever Raider gets the start, either
Mm-hmm.
Kirby Black or Ethan Sanders. So round 1, whichever one's named, whack that cheapie in your squad if you don't like Daniel Atkinson, or if you want to go for the double cheapie play in the halfbacks. The value pick, again, it's like probably everyone's going to have this. Mitchell Moses,
Yep.
he's at the Eels. The Eels are on the up. He's getting the goal kicking back with Lomax gone. He could average over 70 this year. So he's just underpriced to start the season. Mitchell Moses in the halfback.
Yeah, it's just seeing his price start with a 5 just feels weird. It's like, he's just way too cheap. I can't say no to him.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't really have much else to add. The halves are a little bit thin, so we can just gloss over that a little bit. Second row forward, however, I've got a fair bit to talk about, so I'll let you kick it off with the second row forward cheapies. Who have you got?
I didn't have much here. I just had Joe Roddy at the Raiders. They love attacking through their second row. So if he's getting a start or he's going to have some minutes, then he's a bottom dollar second row at a team that loves to play through there. So he could pick up the odd attacking stat if he makes the team. Otherwise, I've got Brendan Piakura at the Bronx. Obviously, Premiership second rower. Struggled with consistency in 2025. So hopefully, that's on the improvement this year and he locks down that position for himself and finds his groove in the team and gets his tackle technique a little bit better and avoids some of those concussions. Man, it was sickening seeing a couple of those this year. So yeah, hopefully Brendan Piakura gets some good attacking stats this season and lifts a little bit. And in the value picks, really obvious, Dave Fafita at the Rabbitohs, under Wayne, should average 70 plus. He could hit 80, honestly.
Yeah.
I think, again, everyone's probably going to go that way. Don't need to say too much there. And another one for me, Charlie Geimer at the Eels. Eels on the up. So that's why there's a lot of value in the Eels players at the moment.
Mm.
But Charlie Geimer, he's a really high points per minute player. So he averaged about 70 points when playing 80 minutes. 80-minute games. So yeah, look, it just comes down to minutes there. But if they're playing him with big minutes, then expect him to get a price rise as well in the first few weeks. So
very nice. Yeah, Para is another one of those teams that just seems to be on the right trajectory and could be very good for us in SuperCoach. So for cheapies, the only one I have to add is Adavalu Lasardi / Joe Chan, whoever takes the spot left by Katoa. They'll be a great option, and I imagine they're going to be very highly owned. We've also got Jesse Colquhoun, who just is a good candidate for some more minutes over at the Sharks. I quite like him as an option. He's about 350k from memory. I'll just double check. Where is he? There he is. And he's got the dual position as well, which is very handy. So 332k, average of 34. I can see him getting some more minutes. For value, we've got Helam Lukey. If this poor bloke can actually stay on the field and live up to his potential, we say it every year, he'll be amazing. We have Jermaine McEwen. There are a few content creators that are much smarter than me frothing McEwen. So there's a chance I change Lukey to him. Actually, I've got him in my team. I've got both of them. So maybe I can move Lukey onto someone else. But yep, Jermaine McEwen, definitely an option. Who is about the same price as Lukey as well. So if you were tossing up between the two, I'd probably go with McEwen. No injury risk there. Trey Mooney. This is a big one. I actually reckon he's sort of entering must-have territory after what I've heard about him. He absolutely killed it in second grade, and I think he, in a SuperCoach sense, was averaging in like the 80s or something. So if he can even slightly bring that kind of form into the NRL, even if he scores 60s, he'll make 150k. But yeah, don't sleep on Trey Mooney. I feel like he could be quite an important guy to get in. Who else have we got here? Jack DeBellin, another year older, but has been a handy guy for me during the Origin period for the last couple of years. If he gets decent minutes at Para, I quite like it. From memory, he scores a lot of 60s and 70s if he gets the right role. So don't mind that. This is an interesting one. Max Plath. His stocks have just gone up because Jeremy Marshall-King has chucked a turbo and injured his knee slipping over at home. So very, very JMK type injury there. He's like, poor guy is also just always on the sidelines. But yeah, so maybe we see Plath return to that hooker / lock role that made him so valuable. Was it last year or the year before? I can't remember. I think it was last year.
He did the year before.
Year
Yeah,
before.
he had the dual position in 25 because of how much he switched around in 24. But then he was sort of off, mostly injured in 25,
Yeah,
which is a
that's
bummer.
right.
I traded him in and out about 5 times trying to keep him in my team because I love him as a player. So yeah, if he's starting at 9, he'll be in my squad. That's for sure. Max Plath.
Yeah. If he, even if he doesn't get the duel and he's just at second row, like still very valuable. But for me personally, if he gets that hooker duel, straight in. Because hooker is boring, it is dire, it is a fucking waste of money. So if I can get someone in that's not a hooker, stoked. So
Maybe.
yeah.
Well, I got something for you in the hookers. We'll get there.
Oh yeah. Beautiful. So yeah, Max Plath, whether it's second row forward or hooker, he's a good option. Jermaine Hopgood, seems pretty cheap at 517k. We all know what he's capable of. He had a little bit of a down year. So if he upticks, I don't think any of us would be surprised. It's just whether you want to take that risk. Cameron Murray. I've got in my notes here that he seems like a slam dunk, but honestly, I don't think he's a must-have. He's an amazing player and will surely make money, but I don't see him getting back up to 700k and may even be eased back into the game, causing him to actually drop in cash and become a better option down the track. Although in saying that, if he's fit and ready to go and he knows that and Wayne knows that, they won't ease him back in. He's a professional. He's done it time and time again. Then we've got two guys. One guy, Angus Crichton. 600k as well, a little bit more, 610k. He's either going to line up next to Sam Walker or DCE, both who know how to put him in a hole. And if he can get back to that try-scoring rampage of a couple of years ago, he will get back up to 850k and everyone will be jumping on him. And the Roosters are really making a premiership push, so I think they're going to need all their attacking weapons on point. And we've seen Angus Crichton be their leading try scorer before, so I think he can do it again. Last guy I want to mention for the second rowers is Isaiah Yeo. I am not keen at all. He's 610k, and that seems like a great price for him, but he's started doing a lot more ball playing and stuff which doesn't convert to SuperCoach points very well. So if he was to go back to more of a prop role than a lock role, then I'd be happy to bring him in. But he was quite annoying for me last year watching games, and he'd just, catch the ball, pass it, 0 points. So can't recommend him. Yeah, that's all I've got. Bit of a big section there. There's a lot going on in the forwards. Right. So yeah, front row forward, who have you got?
Front row, one that we missed in our team picker, Taniela Paseka from Manly. Very underpriced. He should average over 50 this season. So definitely going to have him probably scoring for me, to be honest, because he's got an offload in him. So, good to have him back on the field and definitely underpriced. He's at cheapie price, so that's huge. Then Thomas Flegler at the Dolphins. Basically, same thing. Averaged 50 last season. He was fit, so he's well underpriced at the moment. So should be able to gain a little bit of value there. Either of these guys, they go up in value a bit. You can potentially move them on. You can't start with all guns everywhere, so you're going to have to upgrade some players at some point. I'm looking to probably upgrade both of them at some point along the way. If not, maybe they'll work out to be 60, 70 point average front rowers. Who knows? Paseka and Flegler, they're my cheapies. In the value picks for the front row, I've got Xavier Wilson at the Broncos, dual position, so that's really handy. Again, love that dual position. He's basically Payne Haas's apprentice. Watching him grow as a player over the last year or two has been insane. And I really feel like he's taken it upon himself to make sure that the opponent, doesn't feel like it gets any easier if Payne goes off the field. When Payne goes off, Xavier comes on, and they're basically dealing with another monster. So, yeah, really looking forward to seeing his growth again this year. He has really good PPM as well, so if he gets some more minutes, then he'll definitely be one to watch. Ben Tolte at the Broncos as well. Again, dual position, full preseason with the Broncos this year, smashing it at training. All reports are looking good for Ben Tolte. So they're the value picks I've got in the front row.
Yeah, nice. I particularly am liking Xavier Willison, just the idea of whether whoever's currently benched and whoever's currently on the field, you're just always getting those points for the whole game when you can watch the Broncos. So that would be quite satisfying. And Xavier Wilson, especially when Payne Haas goes off to Origin, he will be a massive, massive trade-in then. So definitely keep an eye on him. If he doesn't go to Origin, who knows? Maybe he has like the season of his life and gets picked. Can't rule anything out at this stage. For the cheapies in the front row, I've got Cody Hopwood. I remember talking about him last year. He only played one game for an average of 41. If he can average 41, then that is perfectly fine. Whether he actually gets the spot at the Knights, I'm not entirely sure yet, but he's been coming through for a couple of years now, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does. That's all for cheapies, but we do have a little bit of value in Nafahu White
Oh yeah, I
for
like
the
that.
Roosters. 800, 584K. So there's not a heap of value there, but I can really see him taking a massive uptick this year and potentially getting up to the sort of high 600s in price and just being a keeper because he was really impressive last year. I enjoyed watching
Mhm.
him. I'm pretty sure Trent Robertson quite likes him as well. So maybe he takes a step towards being that like alpha in the pack, which I'm pretty sure he has said he wants to be.
Yeah, I think he did. It was in the unscripted with Josh Mansour. It was a great interview,
Yes.
and yeah, he really wants to be the big dog. He wants to be the best front rower in the league. So look, I love that shout. If he's on the up, and he played so good this year, there could definitely be some huge value in White this year, even at that starting price of nearly 600K. Wouldn't be surprised if he, breaches 750 like some of the other big dogs.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think he is a absolute weapon in the make. Well, not even in the making. He just is an absolute weapon.
Mm.
Keon. I've got an interesting stat for Keon here that I might have to double check because it seems a bit ridiculous. I hope I haven't made a mistake. But so Keon, 666K. The stat is in the front row, I think he's a no brainer. In the 6 games he played 70 plus minutes at prop, he averaged 103. So I think you just need to get him in. He's a pretty expensive guy and he has just been signed to the Dragons. So who knows if they do kind of pull his role back a little bit, but just on the potential of him playing in the front row, getting good minutes. There is a lot of depth for Souths in the forwards, so it's not an absolute slam dunk. But when what we saw from him last year at front row, if he can replicate that, then it's just a no brainer. Righto, hookers, what have you got for me? I'm excited.
Well, it's complete vibes at the moment, so there's no news or anything. But Blake Moser at the Broncos, look, they were going to move him on. Like, well, firstly, he was meant to be next in line. Then obviously Hunty's at the club, and they were looking to move him on. And then they decided to keep him. So he's in training right now, competing with Corey Pakes and Ben Hunt for that starting 9 position. It's a real good young gun. He came back from injury last year, played the back end of the season in the Queensland Cup. So look, Blake Moser, really excited to see if he cracks into the squad this year. If he does, he's bottom dollar. So there's definitely some value there. But again, have to watch the space. Even if he's starting on the bench though, playing like out of 14 or something, could definitely be some value there with Blake Moser. And then Brandon Smith at the Rabbitohs could be starting at 9 and playing a big role, and he's really cheap. So that's one to watch. Same thing if he's starting on the bench, maybe not as much of an option, but still should grab some points every week and go up in price. I mean, you can't get much lower than 235,000. So Brandon Smith, if he plays, he'll go up in price, and you'll be able to move him on, upgrade in your hookers later on. But yeah, Blake Moser and Brandon Smith, definitely some good options there. Otherwise, I've got in the value category Reed Marnie. New club at the Cowboys with a new role there. Look, he should be allowed to run a lot more, which is going to be key to, getting unlocking some more of those attacking stats. And he's probably going to be playing like 70, 80 minutes. So look, Reed Marnie is my value pick in the hooker position.
Yeah, nice. Back on Brandon Smith quickly. I can't remember where I heard it, but apparently he's training with the starting squad. So that could be an shock horror, another amazing value option at the Rabbitohs that we have to factor in and figure out which one we want. And I've got him in at the moment just because he's so cheap. I do kind of feel like I need to restructure a little bit and get Reed Marnie in, especially if he's playing 80 minutes. Like, it's just a bit of a no-brainer. Other options for cheapies for hooker is Talon De Silva at Para. He will be minute sharing with Riley Smith, but they did sign him for a reason. I doubt it was to play small minutes behind Riley Smith, so maybe he starts to make that position his own a little more. Very similar with Owen Paddy. Surely Ricky plays him a bit more. You don't want your future stars just being stuck on the bench for too long. You want to keep them happy. So I would imagine he gets some more minutes. We've got Bailey Hayward. I'm not that keen on him when you can get Marnie for 80k more, but he's an option. And lastly, for value, we've got Jake Simpkin. Manly do have Docker Clay signed, but I'm not that phased about it. I think, you need someone in case Simpkin goes down. So I think he's more of like an insurance signing than a, sharing minutes signing. And Simpkin has shown that he can play 80 minutes, and he averaged about 60, mid 60s when he did that. So I can see him cracking 600k. And it's nice that I've finally got some Manly players in my team. I've got 3 now, so I'm no longer a fake fan.
Nice one, man. Yeah, that's a great shout with Simpkin.
Beautiful. Well, that pretty much covers it. Next video, I literally don't know what I'm doing. I'm unorganized, but it'll be something, and we'll have a good time doing it. So, Mac, thank you very much for joining me again, brother. And
happy to be here, mate. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Thank you for all your insight and stuff. I'm getting really, really keen. Apparently, the trials are only 4 or so weeks out, so we're genuinely getting close.
Let's go.
Fucking oath. Alrighty, thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate ya. Leave a like on the video and subscribe if you want. If you don't want to, that's cool too. See you next time, guys. Hooroo.